views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace Charity Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak to transformational speaker and coach Mary Petto about the power of manifestation when we discuss her latest book, The Family Guide to the Law of Attraction. After that, we'll sit down with owner of Wrapped by D to discuss her handmade healing crystal jewelry. Then we'll be joined by Pisqueya founder Maritza Abreu to discuss her Latin and Caribbean infused hot sauce. And later on in the show, Bobby Sue brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on singer and songwriter Veloz, who tells us about her latest projects, followed by a presentation of her music video, Agutina. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially back. To Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, you can follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. Our first guest is a transformational speaker and coach who believes that everyone has the power to harness the natural laws of the universe to overcome challenges, manifest opportunities, and create meaningful relationships. Through her book, The Family Guide to the Law of Attraction, she breaks down her signature methods of manifestation for children up to adulthood. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome author Mary Petto. Hello, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, thank you for being here with us, and thank you for sharing your knowledge with the world, right? I mean, this is like I want to say our natural born given talents that we are not taught at a young age to utilize. And so I love that you're teaching the next generation on these abilities.
Yes, and you know, my start in this field was very it was all about me, right? What can I manifest? How do I make this work? Evolving it to an easy way to describe it, helping other people like me, my fellow adults. But over time, I got more and more requests to work with people's kids. And I have kids of my own, and I saw their struggles, and I also got to see them light up when they saw their power at work. And you know, it just led me to this place where I know that if a child is set up to understand that with their mindset and their energetic intention, that vibrational energy, they really can transform their situations and little outcomes as well as big ones. And there's nothing more empowering that could then take them into their adulthood to thrive.
So let's just go from the very beginning for anyone who may not be familiar with these abilities that I opened up with in reference with regards to the law of attraction, let's say, right? So how about we define what the law of attraction is first for our viewers?
Sure. Yeah, so the law of attraction is a natural law of the universe that says that what we experience is a result of the nature of our thoughts and the energy that we are existing in. So what we think about, we bring about. What we focus on expands. So our experiences are a reflection of where our mind is and our thoughts are.
And so just to
And
piggyback
so,
off
you know,
of-
with that,
sorry,
go ahead.
there's a little delay between our connection, but it's okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were saying?
So when we recognize that that is the way this works, it's a little neuroscience, right? Our brains, and a little quantum physics, that vibrational field. When you learn this, you understand that you have the power to control those outcomes. And while not everybody knows about it, it's always happening. Whether we believe it or don't believe it, it's always happening. So that's why you might know people that are always down on their luck, one step forward, two steps back. It's kind of where their focus is. And there are lots of people in this world living extraordinary lives, just getting whatever it is that they want. And that is by the nature of their attitude and their thought process.
And so to simplify that, right, just to simplify that, what you think you create within your physical form. So whatever it is that you're harboring internally manifests itself in your external world. And thank you for breaking it down for us. And that's a pretty profound thing to share, especially when dealing with the young individuals. I understand that you begin developing this ability with kids from the age of 9. And so, and of course, your book is titled The Family Guide to the Law of Attraction, which is beautiful because now it becomes a cultural thing within a household. But how do you penetrate that generation into even having interest in understanding the concept?
You know, I liken it to, you know, sort of the common culture of this Harry Potter culture of, you know, abracadabra. As a matter of fact, abracadabra, actually, it's derived from the phrase, you know, I said it, so it shall be. And, you know, that has, you know, you can make that akin to affirmations, and that helps you get in alignment. Meditation, so that you're visualizing these outcomes. You know, we can even work with small kids, and, you know, this is kind of the family contribution to this. Even younger kids, you can start to play with energy. As a matter of fact, in the book, we start with some energy experiments. So you can see the result of focusing on a particular thought and seeing the results back. And you can play with energy in that you can see the results of pushing negative energy or positive energy toward an object. And so when you start to work with that kind of energy stuff, even in young children, they really, they get raised with this understanding that keeping their mindset on track really is a magical experience. And so by the time they're in 4th grade or later, you know, they can make this work to their benefit consciously.
So, right, consciously and mindfully, right? Yeah, I mean, you can even experiment it on something as simple as water, right? Because it's a mindfulness that you're, and so when it comes to the next generation who needs it so much right now. I mean, and when I say the next generation, I mean the next generation, because, you know, I kind of struggle with my age. I'm like, I live a little in denial there, but however, really, it's just this particular era that we've just had to endure for the past year of the children having to just socialize virtually and pretty much become responsible adults. I mean, there's even though the parents, such as myself, took on these roles of being like side teachers, in essence, they had to operate independently. And so that, especially like my daughter's 11 years old and they're going through enough as it is. And so there's this underlying feeling that exists there based on being thrown into this fire. And so they really need this kind of work now. So how are you communicating it?
So I have my book, I have a website, and I have created a program to bring to schools, middle schools, high schools, and even college, which will sort of at once show the power, but also entertain. And, one of the reasons, in Psychology Today magazine, there was an article that described that anxiety and depression is very often in young people a result of not feeling like they have control over their situation. And, while so many of us want to change something in our lives or feel victims of our circumstances, right? Deep in our hearts as adults, we know that we could change things if we wanted. We could leave the bad relationship. We could leave the job. We know that deep down, it's not easy. I'm not saying it is. And manifesting something wonderful is still very much within our power. But kids don't have the benefit of feeling like they can make those kinds of choices. So they have their environments thrust upon them. At school, COVID is a whole nother thing, but even in a healthy non-COVID world, you're put in the classrooms that you're told, you get in the teacher that you're told, you're sat where you're told to sit, that's your permanent seat assignment, the list goes on. And so by understanding and taking something like the law of attraction or the law of vibration, as it's also known, and watching, even within the book, I have examples, real life examples of kids, fourth graders, high schoolers, plus single moms and other adults, overnight success, changing situations that they never would have imagined could have changed overnight. And so when, and we learn by example, right? It's not possible until we believe it. So, putting all these programs together, putting the book together, pounding the pavement, standing on my soapbox saying, hey, you've got this within you. Every single person. There are no exceptions.
Exactly.
No exception.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm on that same train with you, and thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. Mary Petto, everyone, thank you so much for sharing all that knowledge. And once again, you guys, Mary Petto is the family guide to the law of attraction that can be found on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and if you're interested in a consultation on manifestation, you can visit portablevisions.com. All right, we got to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a woman who is creating crystal jewelry to help people heal and manifest their desires. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Crystals are known for bringing positive vibrations and serve as a healing modality for the mind, body, and soul. Our next guest grew a love for the concept of crystals, and in 2017, she created her handmade jewelry line entitled Wrapped by D. And she's here to join us to tell us all about her company. Please welcome Deandra Rolong, aka D. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you guys for having me. Honestly, I'm very honored. Very pleasure to meet you all. I am D.
Yeah, welcome.
Also known as Wrapped by D.
Yeah, well, Wrapped by D, and we wanted to make sure that everybody got the gist of how you came up with the name D, right? Because it's Deandra Rolong. Pero let's talk about how you even got into crystals. But before we do so, I want to show you my collection, right? Because I find them very fascinating, and just sidebar, these crystals have made their way into my life, right? So here's my collection. What do you see there?
Yeah, I do see selenite, black tourmaline. I think I see a little bit of green obsidian, if I'm correct on that little corner over there. I did say selenite, amethyst. Maybe a black obsidian tower up there, but that's the one holding all the other crystals. I can't really see much, but that is all.
No, yeah, that was great. No, that was great. Off the top of your head, I just put you in the test. No, you know why? Because they have made their way into my life through either gifts or I've purchased based on being called by them,
Right.
And I've even invested in a book to learn about them and their healing modality. So I'm very curious to learn about how and when you got into them and what drew you to make this your business.
Right. So back in 2017, my best friend had taken a trip to California. I, at that point, actually had no idea, you know, in regards to crystals, the spirituality world, stones, nothing about it of the sorts. And she actually had came back with a gift for me, which is what I have on my neck right now. It's a citrine crystal. So I always wear it. And she, at that moment, she didn't really tell me like about it. She just pretty much gave it to me. She was like, I got this blessed for you. And I do remember at that time in my life, I was going through a lot of hardships. Pretty much economically, I wasn't very good mentally, and I was very in a bad headspace. So, you know, seeing that, it was gorgeous. It was wrapped differently. I went ahead and wrapped it myself once I became, I guess, a self-taught rapper. And then honestly, from there, I started looking into it. I became more curious because it was so beautiful. And I'm like, how can the earth produce such beautiful things? You know, this is kind of crazy and amazing at the same time. And
so talk to us about the citrine.
So for this one right here, of course, this is joy, abundance, like wealth, happiness, things at the point that I actually needed, and things at the point that I was actually manifesting without realizing it, and trying to manifest it into my life without actually noticing that that's actually what I wanted. So I guess honestly, it might sound a little crazy, but when I did start wearing it and putting it on, it's like something clicked in my head. I was like, okay, a lot of things started happening. I did start feeling a little lighter, you know, emotionally wise, mentally wise. At that point, I still wasn't ready for Rap ID. A few months later,
how long ago was this before we move forward?
So back in 2017 was when I actually got this gift.
Oh, in 2017. So yeah, everything kind of just rolled into place afterwards. Okay, just want to make sure we're up to date with the dates.
No, of course. So same year that I pretty much launched. I didn't launch the website at that point though. I was pretty much like a live vendor in the Bronx. I was pretty much doing shows, vending at events, vending at the Bronx Beer Hall, stuff like that, Fordham Plaza. And then I started seeing, you know, like, okay, I kind of like this. So I started looking more into it. I bought some books. Unfortunately, I don't have them to show you guys. I bought some cards, like a card deck, kind of like a Crystals for Dummies, kind of tells you what they are. Yeah, and then from there.
Yeah, and then, right, and everything evolved from that, right? So it basically, it presented itself to you, you wore it, you felt the results of it, it became a calling, right? And you dove into it deeper by investing in your knowledge, and now you're versing them, because look, off the top of your head, you were able to identify what I have in my pack, right? Yeah. And so it's a similar thing with me. I mean, it's not my business, but I felt compelled to have to buy a book and start looking into them, because they were just presenting themselves to me. And I know that each crystal represents different healing modalities, and you wear them in different parts of your body, and the different colors represent different things. Now, let's talk about your wrapping style, right? Because I know that you wrap earrings, you wrap chains, you wrap ankle bracelets, you even do nose rings. So yeah, which I think is so cool. It's so cool. You know, very, very innovative, right? You gotta be done with
I just want to keep evolving.
Which is a beautiful thing. And so let's talk about the different crystals and where they should be worn on your body.
Okay. So for me, I guess in general, so ones I do wear, because I have a bunch, like how you said, people have gifted me and I keep them in my room, such as like towers and stuff like that. So I keep those mainly for my space. But the ones I wear is mainly because the things I want to manifest in my life and manifest for my business. So in regards to that, I keep them on my person. For example, my pirate ring, again, for success and abundance in my business. My citrine, I wear them mainly to manifest for my business and I guess my joy personally. But when people do, I guess, ask me to wrap certain things for them, mainly they do wear it like on their person, so mainly on their neck. When they do wear like the nose clips, of course, that is part of the head space. So I feel like it all depends on what the person is looking for.
Got it.
You know,
Right.
for me, I don't go ahead and tell people or go up to people and say, hey, this is what you might need. I do help them, you know, and I tell them, hey, so this is what this might mean if you're not too sure of the benefits or the meaning of behind this crystal or stone. But mainly people do buy from me to wear on their person,
Right.
whether it be a ring or whether it be, so mainly I guess it focuses mainly over here all
Right.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the head,
right.
the headspace, the heart. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it's good. No, it's good. You answered my question, and you know, I just want to make sure before we go that people understand that there's a lot of these items are already made, right? So I was asking her a question with regards to personalized crystals. However, you can personalize it for yourself by just looking at the different designs that she creates, which are really lovely. And
Thank
so
you.
I just wanted to make sure that we shared that much detail with the viewers, should they be interested in learning more about crystals.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any last words?
No, honestly, I'm just glad that I get to help, I guess, people, you know. I never really saw myself in this kind of like
Line of business.
correct. Because myself, I'm very new to spirituality. It's something I've taken upon. It keeps calling out to me, you know. So it's something that everyone has their own things, you know. Everyone has their own stuff going on in their lives.
Right.
I'm trying to pick it up, you know, bring it into my life more. But I honestly feel like it's been a blessing because, you know, some people might look at it and be like, oh, you know, those are just rocks, you know.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, they have heavily helped me in my life.
Well, you're a living example of it. And that's exactly what I was going to say. And I think it's beautiful that you came on, you shared your transformation, and in addition to that, are passing it forward by creating that possibility for anyone who's interested in being wrapped by D. All right. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Honestly, it's been an honor.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. And you guys, once again, to purchase these handmade crystals jewelry, which is Wrapped by D, you can visit wrappedbyd.net. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about a traditional Latin infused hot sauce. So don't go anywhere.
Bye, guys.
Welcome back. It's 4th of July weekend, and many people are looking to spice it up with cultural delights such as condiments, possibly to put on their foods like hot sauce. And our next guest is an entrepreneur who decided to use her family's traditional hot sauce recipes to create Pisqueya, made with high quality natural ingredients. Joining us to tell us more about the brand Pisqueya, please welcome founder Maritza Abreu. Hi, Maritza.
Hi, Rhina. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so excited to speak to you today.
Oh, we're excited to have you. I should have introduced it hot like fuego.
That would have been proper. That's our slogan, hot like fuego.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's introduce everybody to your journey, you know, in a succinct manner, because we don't have all the time in the world, but it's just a very fascinating story with regards to your family restaurant, Puerto Viejo, and how you left and went to Dominican Republic. But you do the storytelling, and I just wanted to prompt you as to taking us into the journey of discovering Pisqueya.
Thank you. Well, I come from a family of cooks for generations, and my family's had restaurants. My parents have had a restaurant, Puerto Viejo, since '86. And it was when they lost the restaurant to fire that I reconnected with like my roots and love for food, and then decided to go on a sabbatical to Dominican Republic, stayed there for a year, ventured into a health food store, and there I started learning about just the peppers, our foods that grow in our land. And it was fascinating to me to see that a lot of the natural foods that we grow there weren't being utilized, such as for hot sauce. Like everywhere I went, there was Tabasco on the table. Meanwhile, I'm coming from my family restaurant. We have a delicious sauce, homemade. And I also grew up seeing my aunts and my grandmother with a homemade bottle in their fridge. And that's where Pisqueya was born. I said, let's bottle this recipe, this family recipe, and share it with the world. It's different. It's, you know.
And you know, what's beautiful is that obviously that your family was able to just rebuild Puerto Viejo, right? Because as you mentioned, it was damaged in a fire, and it's running, and it's still running, and you were able to develop this brand from having been raised in that environment, and having gone to Dominican Republic. Now you also are doing, you have like an economic exchange with DR in basically assisting Dominican Republic through making sure that the ingredients are bought from DR, which is a wonderful, that within itself is very meaningful, is what I'm alluding to. Right? So it's not just the business, it's the way you structured it. Like, let's talk about that.
And that's why I say this project has been a contribution, cultural contribution to the place that has given me so much in terms of like my traditions, who I am. And it is because my parents, they had this restaurant 86, and I saw that network of people they had where they would buy their foods from. They kept it, you know, within the Latin community. They would go to local market and buy their produce and stuff. And so for me, when I launched this company, it was important for me to continue doing that. So I want these peppers, which are very special. The island grown peppers are very different than the ones that are grown here in the States. They're naturally sweet. And I add no sugars to my hot sauces, and they're just naturally sweet and hot. And so yeah, it is something that I was very adamant about in sourcing my ingredients from the island, and sharing that with our generation and future generations to come.
It's beautiful, right? It's like paying it back, right, while passing it forward, and saying and sharing with us the different styles of peppers. You also have different styles of hot sauce, right? You've got the spicy hot, you've got the medium hot, and then you got the spicy sweet. The spicy sweet is the one that really makes me curious, because I'm like, spicy sweet, what's in that?
Everyone gets excited about the spicy sweet because of the chinola, passion fruit, or parcha, as people call it too. It's very unique. It's delicious. It has that tanginess of the chinola, and it's all made with simple ingredients: passion fruit, lemon juice, our Scotch bonnet peppers from the DR, and it's delicious. It really is. It's a game changer for seafood dishes, and really anything that you want to add sort of like a twist to, a tropical twist on any dish.
And so this hot sauce obviously is available online, but I understand that people can pick them up in physical establishments, like some brick and mortars are actually housing it. So I want to talk about why hot sauce and how you've been doing selling virtually, and how you choose the vendors that to carry your line. Well,
the pandemic was challenging because we couldn't physically get to some stores, and but we have a loyal community of people that have been ordering on our website, and so we sell our sauces on our website, and we'd like to reach out to Latin-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses, and also businesses that are selling products that are clean, that believe in sustainable packaging, because we're all about that as well. And so we're in the Bronx. We're at 3 retail stores in the Bronx. We're at the Bronx Botanical Market, and we're at Empanadas RD, which is a Latin-owned empanada spot. They have really good quipes as well. And we're at the Food Town as well. We have some big chains carrying us now. So like the Food Town in Harlem on 145th also has us in the condiment section. And so the thing is with our hot sauce, because it's not an extreme heat, and it has a lot of flavor, and it's natural. We add no fillers, no preservatives. It really attracts a wide audience of people. It's not a hot sauce that's targeted only for hot sauce fanatics. because it can be used as a table sauce, but you can also use it as that secret ingredient in your recipes. Like adding a teaspoon of that in your beans when you're cooking it adds this like flavor that you didn't know was going to be there.
Right.
And or to a soup or sancocho or to a stew. So it's more than just the table hot sauce, you know?
Yeah, no, I know. I love me some hot sauce on my soup. Pero you're not gonna share like what your little secret is in the actual Pisqueya hot sauce, right? Because you've got 3 different flavors. Obviously, you know, you're catering to people who do like hot sauce, and they all look different colors as well. So it's a question of really. Do you offer recipes in which people can apply the Pisqueya in their meals or in ingredients in whatever they're cooking?
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, this is a sauce for people who like hot sauce, but also people who like flavor. And, you know, now people are being more conscious of what they eat, which they should, given all that's been going on. And Pisqueya adds that flavor without ruining your meal, you know? So on our website, we do have a section of recipes where we share some of my homemade recipes, my family traditional recipes like sancocho and other sort of like simple recipes you can make at home and how you can incorporate the sauce into them.
And lastly, so these establishments and where people can actually go purchase them in person, are they listed on the website as well?
Yes, if you go to the location tab, you just enter your zip code and it'll give you a list of all the stores where you can find them.
And before we go, if someone were watching this right now and they were interested in carrying your line, how would they go about doing so?
Contact me. Go on the website, send me an email, and it'll come straight to me, and we'll be in touch within 24 hours. That's the best way.
That's beautiful. And so where do you see this going?
I see this going far, honestly. We're continuing to push our sauces. I'm also working on some dry seasonings, and just condiments that are going to bring flavor, the Latin flavor to your kitchen without having to put in 4 hours of your time of cooking a big meal. You know, because I grew up with a full table of food, and unfortunately, given life sort of responsibilities these days, it's very difficult for me to cook such a big meal every night. But if I have my sauce or my dry seasoning soon, I get that flavor without having to concoct a huge, you know, table of food. So yeah, so I see it growing, and you know, and yeah, getting the word out there as many people as possible so that they know that we're here. There's not that many Latin brands in the market, so I think that we're on for a good trip.
I think so too. And more so because of the way you're operating, right? There's this health consciousness attached to the brand. And I think that's where we're all headed in the way we're eating, because we're all being forced to really address our eating habits and using food as medicine. So the fact that you make sure that there's no MSG, there's no preservatives in there, it's all natural peppers that are grown in Dominican Republic. It's like, oh my gosh, what better way to season up your meals with the taste of the island? Woo!
Yes, and even salt. Like if you look at the sodium content in our sauces, you'll be shocked as to the difference between like our sauces and other mainstream sauces. So yeah, we're keeping it clean for sure.
Awesome, Maritza Abreu, bringing it hot like fuego.
Yes, and these shirts are available on our website. We have the shirt, the t-shirts, and the sweatshirts, and proceeds are going to rescues in the Dominican Republic, because there's a big problem there with animals, stray animals, and so we're trying to give back to the community that way. So
absolutely, brava. Awesome, thank you, Maritza Abreu. Woo! It's all about passing it forward, mi gente, as we progress, right? And so, once again, to purchase Pisqueya, make sure to visit Pisqueya.com. And we got to take a quick break, but when we return, Bobby C brings us the weekly sports roundup. Don't go anywhere.
We start 5-on-5 on the ice. The Islanders drop an absolute heartbreaker in Game 7, falling one game shy of the Stanley Cup final in a 1-0 loss to Tampa Bay. The defending champion Lightning will now take on Montreal in this year's finale. Meanwhile, the Isles will look to regroup next season, especially with star Anders Lee returning from injury. Coupled with that young core, the future is bright for the Islanders, even if there are no guarantees when you're that close to playing for the Cup. The Isles at least send off their fairy tale history at Nassau Coliseum with a memorable OT Game 6 win. They'll move into a new building next season. As for the rival Rangers, they'll move forward with a new coach and a new team president. Here's more.
They're just a team ready to take another step, and I'm just going from the teams that I coached in the past, the Florida Panthers, the Vegas Golden Knights, in most recent history with it. And you know what? You put your systems in place, you get the teams ready to play every night. You start at 7 o'clock, you got 82 games to play, you get ready for every one. So we're going to see what happens. I'm not going to worry about what happened in the past with the team. We're turning the page, we're moving forward, and like I said, when I look at the roster, when I got the opportunity to be named the head coach of this team, I was really excited to see our roster, and I know we're going to take a big step, and hopefully it's a real big step.
Our Big Apple hockey send-off leads off 5-on-5. On the WNBA hardwood, the New York Liberty come in at number 4 on the front end of 5-on-5, leaping into the win column to improve to 8-8 on the young season. We go back inside the locker room for more.
I think it was really good for us. I think we definitely needed it, especially with the past few games that we've had, and I think it just showed us like what we're capable of when we come out. We're disciplined, we execute, and we're focused on our game plan. I think we executed our game plan really well tonight, which we hadn't really done in the past few games. So I'm just really proud of us and happy for for us to get the win.
Meantime, on the baseball diamond, winning is becoming the norm for the Mets, even if their offense may not be as good as their pitching. Mets star Michael Conforto highlighted a nice weekend for the club last weekend with a walk-off sac fly. We caught up with Conforto and the Mets.
It was incredible. I don't know what the attendance was, but it had to be the highest in years, and they were rowdy, that's for sure. A lot of cheers. A lot of positivity.
On the flip side, what's wrong with the Yankees and Garrett Cole? The Bombers and Cole look mortal these days. They get swept by first-place Boston. Here's the pinstripe ace on a poor outing.
I think everybody was well aware of the importance of the game. It's a pretty brutal feeling, to let the team down like that. So, obviously wanted to come out and be able to give us a good chance to win, and wasn't able to do that today.
We got to find a way. I mean, this is, the inconsistencies of, the 2 steps forward, come up here in a big weekend series, and take a giant step back. That inconsistency has kind of defined us so far, and we got to find a way to be more consistent.
The Mets and Yankees come in at number 3 and number 2 on our top 5 of 5-on-5. 5 stories from the weekend that you may have missed before looking ahead at 5 stories to watch out for this coming weekend. In at number 5, Fabio Quartararo scores his 4th MotoGP win of the season in the Dutch GP as Garrett Gerloff, the first American rider in the Premier Division in 5 years, finishes barely outside the points in his series debut. Fabio in MotoGP and another Max Verstappen victory in Formula One last weekend. Those two are dominating the 2 premier motorsports in the world. Here's 5 for this weekend and the week ahead. The American Century Championships will get underway on July 6th in Nevada. Some big names are set for the Celebrity Golf Championships. We got a chance to speak to several of them. I asked Baseball Hall of Famer and former Met Tom Glavine about fellow Hall of Famer and his former teammate John Smoltz about his chances in the tourney. Smoltz is a super golfer.
Can you actually see him winning this event? I know he's been very competitive more recently, but I think the competition, as you guys have spoken about today, is probably better than it's ever been.
I would never count Smoltzy out of anything. He's a guy that there isn't much that he doesn't think he can do. Which, I guess serves him well most of the time. Sometimes it gets him in trouble, but there isn't much that he doesn't think he's capable of doing. So, but you're right. There's some really good players in this tournament. And guys that can really hit the ball a long way and then hit it close to the pin when they do, and all that stuff. So it makes it tough on the rest of us. But if John's healthy and he's feeling good, I think he's got a chance. I know he played in the senior tournament a couple of weeks ago and did not play very well. And I talked to him after that, and he said his game wasn't very good. But if I know him, he's spending every extra minute he has now between now and the tournament working on things. So he'll be ready to go.
NFL Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel talked about golf during the pandemic.
Those guys have a lot of time on their hands, and they're usually good golfers. So Brett Kern's a very good golfer. And then there's a sprinkling of guys that do play. And I think that it's a great way to get out to do something other than be at practice or be at work, but also be with teammates and laugh and try not to take yourself too seriously.
And our longtime friend of the show, Justin Tuck, explained the nerves of the tourney as opposed to Super Bowl nerves from his days leading the New York Football Giants.
Playing in the Super Bowl, that's the stuff that we've done since playing football is something I've done since I was a kid. I mean, and playing in front of the TV, something I've done since college, right? So I'm pretty used to that. But having to hit a nice little cut off the first tee with my driver in front of 25,000 people, I'm not used to that. So yeah, that part of it will be nerve-wracking. I might just take my putter out on hole one just to make sure I can get the ball down the fairway a little bit.
As you gear up for golf this coming week, you'll want to tune in for a 3-game Subway Series this weekend on the baseball diamond. The Yankees welcome the Mets starting tonight at the Big Ballpark in the Bronx. The pair appropriately grabs the 2 spot here on the back end of 5-on-5. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals takes the 3rd spot. That goes down tonight. Pivotal game for both the Lightning and the Canadiens. Puck drop is 8 p.m. in Montreal. And in at number 4, Wimbledon opened last week with a terrific first round. The oldest tennis tournament in the world keeps rolling through July 12th. Check Wimbledon.com for match times and the latest. And last but certainly not least, we'll travel around the world and have the inside story of the world's fastest Indian on Monday morning's Open. Don't miss it. That's 5-on-5. To the C-list we go. For this C-list, a shout out to the Yankees for making a wrong a right 60 years later. The 12th edition of the award-winning community initiative Hope Week returned Monday and took place this week with events each day through today. Monday's event at Yankee Stadium featured a woman who realized her dream of becoming a Yankees Batgirl 60 years after first writing the Yankees to ask for the opportunity. Here's more.
Here at the Yankees, we have championed to break down gender barriers in our industry. It is an ongoing commitment rooted in the belief that a woman belongs everywhere a man does, including the dugout. And despite the fact that 6 decades have passed since you first aspired to hold down the position as New York Yankees Batgirl, it is not too late to reward and recognize the ambition you showed in writing that letter to us as a 10-year-old girl. Some dreams take longer than they should to be realized, but a goal attained should not dim with the passage of time. On behalf of the entire organization, it would be my great honor for you to join us for our game on Monday, June 28th versus the Los Angeles Angels to serve as our honorary Batgirl for the day.
Oh my God. It is my honor and my dream, and I can't thank you enough, and Ab, for making this come true. I will be there.
An absolutely amazing story. Hope Week, which we have highlighted each year, stands for helping others persevere and excel. There was a 1-year pause due to the pandemic in 2020, but like us, it came back stronger than ever in 2021. Nice job by the Yankees. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a singer and songwriter who takes pride in her Dominican roots and representing Latinas. Her soulful voice has been dubbed as Dominican blues, and her music is a mixture of city jazz, pop, merengue to the bachata world. Joining us to tell us more about her latest projects, please welcome Andre Veloz. Hi. Woo-hoo.
How are you, my dear?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too. The last time we had you on the show, which of course was in studio, was in what year?
2019, probably.
2019. Wow. It seems like it was so many years ago with us all being locked up for 1 year. I mean, I shouldn't really refer to it as being locked up. It's shelter in place, but it felt like we were locked up. And here we are, still operating remotely, but it's okay. It's all good. I'm happy to see your face. I love the vibrant colors in your space. And bueno, Andre, I just love everything you do. I love everything about you.
Thank you. You know what? I really like your new studio.
Oh, thank you.
It's more you. I mean, it's you. It's your home.
Right.
Actually, because it's you that I see.
Got it. Got it. In the background, like it matches my personality. I appreciate that. So I appreciate that. Pero vamos a hablar de ti because again, when it comes to you and your work and your style, I'm always left in awe. Your creativity is off the charts, and let's just talk a little bit about the background, right? Because I don't even know if people are aware that you were actually born in St. Croix and were brought to DR at a very young age. I mean, practically a newborn. So you do identify as being Dominican. So let's talk a little bit about your background and just bring everybody up to speed into how you became a bachata singer.
So starting for St. Croix, my grandmother had a barra there. So it's just good fortune that I was born in such a beautiful island. And then I had the great fortune of growing up in the Dominican Republic, where my parents and all of my family is from. And and then I had the luck of moving to the Bronx, to New York, at an adult age. And I can't complain.
No, it's beautiful. I wanted to share your journey in how all of these different aspects of who you are influenced the style that you create, because you have your own unique style. And yes, I know it's the genre of bachata, but I don't know if people know that your origins are like from rock, right? That was your choice of music, and so you sing English, you sing Spanish, but you somehow did a 360 and found your way back to your roots, but yet still being true to yourself.
Well, you know what? Rock and jazz, they were a great tool for me in the Dominican Republic to earn discipline as a singer, and also for learning English. That was like an amazing tool. And also like in the 90s and the 2000s, we had a lot of female role models in the rock industry. So that was a very big advantage for me to learn from those idols, Gwen Stefani, Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries, Shakira. You know, like we had somebody to look up to and learn from, Alanis Morissette. And without that, I don't think I will have the voice I have today, and without the jazz either. That is probably what helps me be different or have like my personal sello.
Yeah, you're unique. You're definitely unique. Absolutely. 100%.
And then when I moved to New York, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get myself filtered in the jazz world. That at that point I was singing mainly jazz and world music in the Dominican Republic. And I saw that where I had an opening as a performer was from my roots, doing what my people do, that is bachata. And bachata was way more affordable than doing merengue that requires a very big band. And also, I discovered that I knew more songs than I realized I knew when it came to bachata. Like I have a very photographic memory for all of those things that you just absorb.
Right. Like you were able to recall upon them from your past. You were able to like just recall upon them because it was in your DNA already. You were being raised with it.
You don't realize you know so many things until you are like thrown in the water to see if you can swim, basically.
And now here you are, almost like a pioneer of this genre, because as you've mentioned to me on many occasions, it's for women to be in this genre, it's like very rare. I mean, you identify as being unicorns, right?
Yeah, and well, there is a lot of work to do in terms of inclusion of women in Latin music in general, and bachata especially because of its roots, where it came from. It was a genre born in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And you know how things, I mean, I don't know, probably you don't know, but we know from our grandmothers and our great grandmothers that women had a very specific role that wasn't one of being at home. Some of them were able to work, but it was unheard of to see a woman performing at that level, especially in dodgy places in Latin America.
I get it. And if they were very few. And so, you're just breaking barriers all over the place. I genuinely in love. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. I genuinely, hi. I was just sharing that I genuinely enjoy scrolling through your website, because even your photographs are very artistically crafted. So you're just unique altogether. And I just want everyone to experience you. And unfortunately, we're out of time. But the beauty is that they're going to get to experience one of your latest projects. And I know you want to say something before we go. It's about the other project of you visiting DR, right?
Well, I actually was going to say something about you, that I have been a fan of you since 2005, when I used to work at Hostos Center of the Arts, and with Wally Edgecombe and Ramon. And I've been following your career since then. And about the project.
No, I appreciate that, Mama. I love that. Thank you so much for giving that back. But I wanted to just really quickly mention the project that you've taken on, your side project of visiting different parts of DR, really quickly though, because we're out of time.
Okay, real quick. The project is called Dos Mujeres, and it's about two female friends, two girls, and a road quemando gasolina in the Dominican Republic. It's a road trip in the Dominican Republic, and it's in English so that everybody can understand. And please check.
And it's on YouTube, right? It's on YouTube?
Yes.
It's on YouTube. And I'm so happy you're here again. I'm happy you're safe, and you continue to bless us with your music, your style, your artistry. And you guys, as you can see, I'm a big fan of hers too. We do have to take a quick break, but I really don't go anywhere, because next up we have Andre Veloz's new video single, Agustina, which is an animation. It's so much fun. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Here now we present to you Bachatera Extraordinaire, Andre Veloz's animated video single, Agustina.
El gustar no es un delito, es un placer de la vida. A ella le gusta gustar, ese gusto de Agustina. Se encarama en su tacón, se acicala y se maquilla. A ella le gusta gustar, ese gusto de Agustina. A ella le gusta gustar, ese gusto de Agustina. Vámonos. Ay, primerito que voy a preguntar, que le pregunte a Agustina si le gusta. Cuando se fijen que ella le gusta y la sonríe. gusta, a ella le gusta gustar, a ella le gusta gustar, a ella le gusta gustar, le gusta. Y a ti, Gustavo, te gusta gustar, ja. Gustavo, te gusta. Y a ti, Agustina, te gusta gustar. ¿Y a quién no le gusta? Para baram pararam, para baram pararam, para baram pararam. Me gusta. Para baram pararam, para baram pararam, para baram pararam. Me gusta. No te sorprenda ni me hable caballa, que a ti también ya te he visto figurando. Aunque le ponga una frase espiritual, tu foto de Instagram me está dando otro dato. Que a ti te gusta gustar, que a ti te gusta gustar, que a ti te gusta gustar, te gusta. Y es que el gusto es gusto, bebé, y el que gusta, gusta. Y es que el gusto es gusto, y el que gusta, gustar es un arte que no se puede enseñar. Es un secreto que no ando divulgando. Hay que graduarse primero de agenda. No te distraigo más, que va a seguir gustando. Que a mí me gusta gustar, que a mí me gusta gustar, que a mí me gusta gustar. Me gusta, que a ti te gusta tu like, que a ti te gusta tu like, que a ti te gusta tu like, te gusta. Y a ti, Gustavo, te gusta gustar, ja. Gustavo, te gusta. Y a ti, Agustina, te gusta gustar. ¿Y a quién no le gusta? Para baram pararam, para baram pararam, para baram pararam, para bararam, pam pam.
Oh my gosh. Oh, doesn't that have an awesome ring? Woo woo. Go ahead, Andre Veloz. And for you guys, if you want to learn more about Andre, visit andreveloz.com. All right, that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the Recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Happy 4th. Enjoy your Independence weekend. Adios.